In the metals quadrant, taking a look at the May copper futures contract, down 5 of the last 8 sessions, but higher today, yet still showing some intraday weakness. What I mean by intraday weakness is in 2 of the 8 sessions that copper finished higher, really 2 of the 5 of the 8, copper finished lower than its own opening price. That includes today. So what I mean by that is it gapped open, went lower, but still finished higher than the previous day's settlement. That's intraday weakness. Now today, the high was 4.0395. That was up almost 1%. The low, 3.9840. That was down 0.4%. And we finished the day up about 14 basis points. So in between 1/10 and 0.2%. On a weekly basis, copper finished slightly lower, but higher than the week's open and still above weekly support. So that's a medium-term positive note on the technical side. In terms of seasonality, copper remains in a seasonally strong period through the 3rd week of April. One of the strongest seasonal periods overall for copper is from late November through the end of July. That would take this short sideways pause at the end of the March, or it would include it, I should say, which is what we just went through, and another strong tailwind is supposed to begin on a seasonal basis. Remember, that's not a trading strategy, but on a seasonal basis, it's supposed to begin at the beginning of April, which is where we'll be at the start of next week. So you might want to look for that in terms of tailwinds that have not as much to do with the sort of intraday supply and demand factors. Also, you look at yields, inverse relationship with industrial metals and U.S. yields and the U.S. dollar. The dollar is breaking out higher on a weekly basis. The weekly move lower in yields paused, and while the dollar finished nearly unchanged on the week, it stayed above a critical weekly resistance level in the aggregate, despite falling below it during the week. Now, despite this recent dollar strength, copper has still sort of had a medium-term uptrend going, so that's something to keep an eye on as well.